Alright, guys, it is freaking time. It is main event time. It's KO and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the tag team titles. And I'm glad this is the main event. I really thought they were going to go with like Charlotte and Rhea or something, just for the whole like equality deal or whatever. But yeah, man, I'm really glad this was the main event. They show a video package, and there's a lot there. I mean, this is a great, really like long, slow build, which is perfect. Sammy, rising to the bloodline and then turning on KO, all the way up to the point to where he turned on Roman, and now he's back with Kevin Owens, and they're battling for the tag team titles. Just amazing freaking storytelling. One of the best stories they've done in a long time. So out comes little Uzi Vert, I guess his name is. I don't know who the hell this guy is. He comes out, he starts like doing some kind of rap thing. I mean, there was even people in the crowd who were just kind of like, who? Like, they didn't even know who this guy was. And I'm not saying he's not popular. I guess he is, but the crowd needs to know who these people are. I remember when they brought Bad Bunny in, and people were they didn't even know who he was. And I remember thinking for weeks, I'm like, man, at least like give some kind of presentation or like a video package showing who these people are, so when they show up, the crowd kind of can like look it up, or at least kind of get an idea as to who they are. I don't know. But anyway, he comes out, he does his little thing, and then the freaking Usos come out. Usos make their way to the ring. They actually got a nice little pop here. I think everyone's excited for the match. Then comes KO. He gets a nice pop too, but we all know who's going to get the real freaking pop, who's really going to rip the freaking top off of this arena, and that's Sami Zayn. We hear his music, and then he comes down, the freaking crowd goes nuts. And here he comes down to the ring, crowd singing along with this theme, the whole shebang. This is going to be freaking good. I was super pumped to watch this match. And man, when is the last time the tag team titles were as featured as they are here at Mania? I mean, this is the biggest tag team title match I've seen in Mania, like, quite a long time. Because usually the tag matches are like one of the first matches to go off the card. And it's never like really a big deal, to be honest. But this was huge. KO and Sammy get announced. They get super big pops. The Usos get announced, and they get solid boos. So it's perfect, right? And by the way, they've been tag team champions for over like 1,000 days or something. I mean, that's pretty freaking nuts to think about. 1,000 days, guys. Sammy and Jimmy actually started this thing off. The crowd doing the whole like Olay chants for Sami Zayn. Again, Sammy's super freaking over. This is why this needed to be the main event, because Sami Zayn. Jimmy walks over. He tags Jay in. So now it's actually Jay and Sammy who are going to start this thing off. So we get a lockup and a headlock from Jey Uso, and then a shoulder tackle. And it feels like a common theme tonight with the whole like headlock, shoulder tackle, headlock, shoulder tackle. I mean, I've said that like 3 or 4 times in some of these matches, but yeah, it was just quite the standard to start the match. Another lockup, and this time Sammy gets out and he hits a loose les, and he just starts hitting some right hands on freaking Jey Uso. Blind tag from Jimmy Uso, who gets in, and he gets Sammy to the outside and just hits a stiff freaking clothesline. They start taunting Sammy here, and then throws Sammy into the freaking ring post. Jamie holding Sammy while Jay actually goes into the ring, hits a suicide dive, and just knocks Sami Zayn down. So the Usos in total control here. Jade would end up nailing a capture suplex to Sammy on the ground. Sammy's just basically taking a beating. And, this is a lot of stuff that they do when you have, like, a really big face. Remember Cena, like, every single match, when he was, like, super big, he would take, like, a beating for quite a while, and then he would just make his big, comeback at the end type thing. So Sammy, just being as big as he is, he's just taking a beating so the crowd get more into it, later. But anyway, Jay gets him in the inside, a lot of grounded pounding, and then Jimmy even gets a freaking cheap shot boot as well. Jimmy gets the tag, and he cheap shots KO like right off the apron, so Sammy can't make that tag. KO's like super ticked off. He wants to get tagged into this match. Usos with a lot of in and out tags and just beating Sammy down, cutting the ring in half here. Just smart tag team wrestling. I love when they freaking do this stuff. I mean, that's what tag team wrestling's all about. Just don't let the other guy get tagged in, right? And just beat one guy up. So Sammy makes a comeback. He knocks both the freaking Usos to the outside. KO gets the hot tag, and he goes to the top rope and hits a diving senton on both guys, and both guys are out. So KO would get up, he hits a clothesline, and even a frog splash from the apron onto Jimmy. He gets in the ring, hits a frog splash on Jay, and then he gets a 2 count. And KO's like super pumped for this freaking match. You know, out of all the guys that came down to the ring, like the whole freaking show, KO was the most like intense. You could tell like he really wanted to get this thing going. KO would go for a stunner on Jey Uso. Jey Uso would end up reversing it, hitting a neck breaker for a 2 count, and that freaking neck breaker was solid, by the way. I like the whole like switch over position from the stunner to the neck breaker. It was cool. Jimmy gets a blind tag in. KO gets Jay down and goes up to the top again. He didn't see the blind tag. He goes for the senton, but Jay actually would get his knees up. So Jimmy's up on the freaking top, gets a freaking frog splash, goes for the pin, and KO kicks out just in the nick of time. So Jimmy with a hip attack in the corner, and he actually misses. Freaking KO moves out of the way, hits a super kick and a freaking cannonball in the corner. KO goes up top. Jay grabs his foot, though. He's over on the apron, grabs his foot, and Sami actually grabs Jey Uso and hit a freaking brainbuster on the apron. Holy crap, that was cool. KO hits a senton on Jimmy and gets a 2 count, and again, really freaking close to winning this match. KO tags in Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn actually hits a Uso frog splash, and he gets a 2 count. Imagine if Sami would have won with a freaking frog splash. That would have been crazy, huh? Sami gets Jimmy up, and he gets Jimmy, to the outside. They start going out a little bit, and then freaking Jimmy gets out of freaking Sami's hold, gets into the ring, and he super kick KO like right off the apron. Jay would end up getting a blind tag, and Sami hits a blue thunderbomb on Jimmy, but he didn't see the blind tag, doesn't realize Jay's right behind him. He turns around and gets super kicked, and Jay goes for the pin, and Sami kicks out at 2. So a lot of tags, a lot of near falls. I freaking like it. I mean, this is like classic tag team wrestling here. So Jay with another super kick, and then he tags in Jimmy. Now both guys are just delivering tons of freaking super kicks. As the freaking elite would say, it's a super kick party. Well, I guess that's what you could say. We're in WWE now, so let's not say that. Anyway, Jimmy with the pin, and KO makes the save, but immediately gets freaking super kicks himself. So KO just falls to the outside of the ring, and now Sami again is alone all by himself with the Usos. And man, I remember when a freaking super kick was a finisher. Now it's like everybody does super kicks, and it's like it's so overdone. I don't know. They just need to do something else. Stop with the super kicks, guys. Jimmy and Jay with a double super kick on Sami, and again, Sami barely kicking out. Sami can't even get to his feet. He's like in the corner. They hit another double super kick, and Sami, again kicking out. But at this point, I was kind of surprised. The crowd was like super silent here, not really into this. And I think a lot of it had to do with like, thing with wrestling fans is like if we know it's not the end, we don't really get into it. But when we think it's the end, then that's when you start getting into the match. Or when someone kicks out of a big finish or something, that's when fans really get into it because it kind of like throws you off a little bit. But anyway, guys, Usos are just dominating Sami Zayn. They pick him up, they go for the 1D, but KO actually grabs Jimmy's foot and drags him to the outside, and he just rams his face on the announcer's table. So KO goes for the powerbomb on the table, but the Usos actually double team KO on the table, and they actually drive him through the other table nearby, and now KO is freaking out. So Sami Zayn again all by himself. Sami Zayn still in the ring, still freaking down. He was taking all those super kicks, so he can't even get up. Usos get back in the ring. They finally hit the 1D on Sami Zayn, and he actually kicks out. Freaking huge crowd pop. They even mentioned that nobody's ever kicked out of the 1D. The 3D, sure. Dudley Boys, whatever. But the 1D hasn't happened. Whatever. So Jay and Sami now all alone. Jay's yelling at Sami. He slaps him in the corner, says, I thought you were my brother. Really getting into it. And then freaking Jay with some right hands. And then Sami, just still, he can't get to his freaking feet. He's just taking so much punishment. Jey Uso goes over to the other corner, starts mocking Sami a little bit, and hits a haluva kick on Sami Zayn. But instead of going for the pin, he actually is taunting Sami Zayn. Gives Sami just enough time to recover, hits an exploder suplex, and makes the comeback. So, yeah, first time we actually seen Sami do something for a while. Sami gets the freaking hot tag to KO. KO gets in the ring, and he hits a pop-up powerbomb on both Usos. Sami comes back in and he hits Jimmy with the haluva kick. KO with a stunner on Jay, and he goes for the win, but Jay kicks out. Wow, man. I really thought that was it. After Sami hit that haluva kick on Jimmy and took Jimmy out of the match, and then KO hitting the stunner, I mean, I really thought that was it. I mean, how many times you seen KO hit a stunner and people kick out of that? I mean, that doesn't usually happen either. Huge freaking crowd pop. People can't believe it. It's, again, what I said. When the crowd thinks it's over and it's not over, then the crowd really gets into it because they're like, oh man, I thought that was how it was going to end. How is it going to end? So, freaking great little finish there. But, man, Sami, they show a close up of his back and it's like super red. And I can't even think as to why it is so red. He even had like a little slash on his back. I don't know, like if he took a bump on the apron or what it was, but yeah, it was pretty freaking bad. All four men get up at the same time, and then a freaking brawl ensues. Why not, right? The crowd is standing now. They definitely want to know who's going to win this match. Everyone's kind of hit like their big spots and stuff, and everyone, kicking out. So the crowd definitely like really into this match now. So Jimmy with a super kick to Sami, KO with a super kick to Jimmy. Usos make a comeback though. They actually hit a double super kick on KO, and now he's out again. So Jimmy and Jay both hit double freaking frog splashes on KO, and KO actually kicked out. So crowd is losing their freaking minds. I mean, all these kickouts and all these finishes and stuff. Everyone's hit like a big move. So KO's in the corner. He's trying to get to his feet. Jay picks him up, tags in Jimmy, and then another double super kick. Again, the super kicks. Can we just calm down with the super kicks? They get the super kick on KO in the corner. Then they put KO up on the top rope, and it looked like they were going for like a super 1D, which I thought was pretty interesting. But Sami actually comes in, he stops it, he pulls Jimmy out of the ring. KO hits Jimmy with the exploder suplex or Jey Uso with the exploder suplex off the top, and he gets the freaking hot tag to Sami Zayn. So Jay's in the corner, Sami's like in the other side of the corner. He hits the freaking haluva kick, but he doesn't go for the pin. He actually picks Jay up and he freaking hits another haluva kick. So instead of going for the pin there after the second one, he picks freaking Jay up again, and then freaking Jimmy jumps in the ring. He tries to stop it. KO actually stops Jimmy though, hits him with the stunner, and Sami Zayn's like, all right, it's just me and you, Jay. He sticks him up into the freaking corner, hits a third haluva kick, gets the pin here, and that's it, guys. We got new freaking tag team champions, and it's the first time KO and Sami have ever won tag team titles, so that was pretty crazy. And man, they were showing like the crowd responses and stuff, and people were actually crying. I mean, that's how crazy this was. And that's, one of the reasons why I love wrestling so much is that people get so like heavily invested in these characters and these storylines. I mean, if you do it right, this is the kind of reaction you get, and this is why this was so good. It was just awesome. The build, the match, just everything. This is what wrestling is like really all about. So I'm really glad that they put this on last. I thought Charlotte and Rhea was a really good match, but Sami, just the year he's had, everything, I mean, he needed this freaking moment, and he's super freaking popular right now. So again, just really perfect. The crowd going freaking nuts. The fireworks go off. Sami and KO have now done it. They are now the tag team champions, and what a way to end night one. We get that feel-good moment. And, guys, this was just freaking night one. It was pretty freaking solid and a solid ending here. And, again, great freaking way to finish. And now we get to move on to night two. So, again, guys, good match, good build, just freaking great. I liked it.